You are about to participate in the most ambitious culinary experiment ever imagined.
This competition is going to test everything.
Adapt quickly to anything. I mean anything. The wildest day of your life starts right now.
All new 24 and 24, Last Chef Standing. Sunday night at 8 on Food Network. Stream on Max.
What did you do in Haiti?
I was a dentist.
A dentist. Mm-hmm.
Henry.
You have a perfect smile.
Let her talk. Yeah,
Honest to God,
I like that because
dazzling.
she cannot even talk because she doesn't know what she's saying.
This is the plaintiff, Mirtha Louis Jean. She says the defendant, her ex-husband, up and left her one day out of the blue, stealing her car and leaving her to pay the rent alone on the condo they once shared. The guy doesn't even call to check on their children, and she can't wait to finally face him in this court and tell the judge all he's done to hurt her emotionally and financially. She's suing for $5,000, the amount she is owed. This is the defendant, Henry Dorcius. He says he gave all the money he earned to his wife, the plaintiff, because she told him men had no rights in the United States, and she would have him sent to jail if he didn't fork it all over to her. He worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week to support her. Now she turns around and sues him? Well, he can't wait to have his day in court today and explain his side of things to the judge. He's accused of taking off.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome,
okay. Mirtha Louis Jean, you are suing Henry Dorcius, your former husband, for $5,000. You say you're out actually $8,000 something in debts that you say he owes to you and has not repaid. Tell me what is going on.
All right. I've met Henry when I was 17, and when I was 21 in my country.
What country are you?
Haiti. And my parents just sent me here.
Here would be where?
Miami.
Miami, okay. So you marry him when?
2009.
And why do you marry him?
I marry him because I love him.
Okay, and was he still in Haiti when you married him?
Actually, he was traveling forth and back and convinced me that I'm the woman of his dream.
All right, so you marry him and then he goes back to live in Haiti and you're living here?
No, he just, after the earthquake, he told me that there was no way he can live in Haiti. He had no job and everything.
What did he do in Haiti? What did you do in Haiti?
I was a dentist.
A dentist. Mm-hmm.
Henry.
You have a perfect smile.
Let her talk. Yeah,
Honest to God,
I like that because
dazzling.
she cannot even talk because she doesn't know what she's saying. Let her talk.
Well, let's have her. She goes first, and then you can answer. So go ahead.
Yes.
This is Henry.
So he comes to America and does what?
So when Henry came to America, Henry didn't have any job. I had to support Henry.
Okay, but don't look
and
at him.
Before that, the reason, before Henry came here, when we got married in 2009, I had to give Henry money. So Henry had planned to open a school, nursing school in Haiti.
Okay, well, you didn't have to do anything. You chose to do that.
Yeah, I chose to do it. I chose to do it.
Now, so after the earthquake, he comes to live with you here? Mm-hmm. Okay, and then what happens?
So Henry didn't have any job, so I filed for him for a green card. And he had his green card and everything. But every time Henry got a job, Henry cannot keep up the job.
Okay, so what are you suing for here? Rent and a car. Tell me about the rent. Because when he was living there, you were paying it half and half, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so he comes over here in 2010. You're renting a place together. You each pay half, and everything's going fine until he leaves.
Until he leaves. But
okay, why did he leave? Because
his friend called me and said, Henry is not going to stay because once Henry got his green card, he's not staying. This is his plan. Henry said that I beat him all the time. Henry, the kind of person Henry is.
Who did he say that to?
He said that we had a previous court because of the.
All right, let's hear from Henry. Henry, so according to you, he leaves, and did you tell me why he left?
He left because he had his green card. He had everything.
And then after that, he leaves you paying the rent. So you're suing him for 10 months of rent, his share, until the end of the lease. And then you're also suing him for a car that you purchased together. Tell me about that.
Okay. Henry was working for 8 months. And then Henry took that money. Henry rent a car, and he's paying almost $800 every month.
So as soon as he had a job, the first thing he did was waste $800 a month on a car note?
And listen,
what kind of car was this?
It was a rental car.
A rental car?
Yeah, he rented a car.
Thought it was going to be a Ferrari.
Henry rented a car $700, and he's paying almost $800 every month.
So then what did you do? So then you bought him a car?
So after I lost my house because I was supporting Henry having seizures. So,
what do you mean you were supporting Henry having seizures?
I mean, Henry was used to have seizures all the time, epilepsy, and Henry didn't have any insurance. Henry used to take one medication that was $370-something a month.
Okay.
And because of that, I lost my house.
Okay, I don't want to hear anymore why you spent so much money on Henry. I want to hear about the car, and this is the last time I'm going to ask you. How did you end up buying Henry a car?
I buy Henry a car. This is the only way Henry can get to work.
So you paid how much?
I gave Henry $1,000.
Okay, so you gave him $1,000, and then he put the rest of the money?
Yes.
And what was the rest of the money?
$800.
Okay, and then you're suing for $1,800 for the entire amount?
Yeah.
Okay, now, Henry, let us hear from you. What is going on? She thinks that all you did was marry her so you can get a green card.
The problem is, I respect my mom.
That's the problem?
My daughters, my sisters, I respect all women. She was like my step-sister because her dad has 2 kids with my mom.
Oh, Lord.
That's why she ended up...
You didn't know?
I didn't know. We met in Puddle West.
You didn't know?
Wait, don't talk to each other. Don't talk to each other.
I didn't know. Henry knew, but I didn't know. We met
they are
in
your
Puddle
sisters. How you can know them?
Henry, I know my sisters.
She got 2 sisters.
Stop. Go ahead.
That's why she tricked me.
What do you mean she tricked you?
Because she tried to become nice to me, to show me that she gonna be a good woman to me. And then I gave her my heart because
you gave her your house?
My heart.
Oh, your heart.
Yeah,
okay.
Because I know she is the sister of my sister. How could I did something wrong to her? It's like my sister because her dad has 2 daughters with my mom.
So why are you dating your sister? Why did you marry your sister?
So every vacation we meet.
With the family?
Yes, because she was the sisters of my sisters.
Okay.
But when I went to vacation, we became close. And as a girl and a boy, we ended up a relationship.
Of course. What else?
And then she told me, you are the first one who, excuse me the expression, who had sex with me. I become, oh my gosh. So I had to consider her.
Okay.
So
you
were
married her
in
for
love.
love?
No, we were.
But you left when you got the green card.
It was a good love because she was the sister of my sister.
Whoa.
That means
no, there is no better love than marrying your sister.
No, she's not my sister. She's the sister of my sister.
I got it.
So I appreciate her as a family. I said I have to do something good for her.
Okay. All right, so let's move forward a little bit.
Okay, now
before I kill myself. You marry her in 2009. The earthquake happens in 2010. You moved to Miami in 2010.
Yes.
Okay, so now you're living together and you're each paying half, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
And then it wasn't like that.
No. It wasn't. Yeah. Okay.
She bought a house. She was on foreclosure in the house.
Okay.
When I get in here, she was in foreclosure. She was living with a man. That's why I come up with everything. She had a man and had a kid.
Okay, I want you to listen to me. At some point, stop. At some point, were you responsible for $625 a month?
No.
Whether it's the mortgage or anything else?
No, we didn't have any.
Did you pay any of the mortgage?
I was paying all the bill by my own.
Were you paying all of the mortgage?
Yes, I was working.
What job did you have?
I was a caregiver.
When did you leave?
she kicked me out. I didn't leave her. She kicked me out.
Okay, you have to stop that noise.
She
All right.
kicked me out.
Why did she
beat
kick
me.
you out?
She beat me with
She beat
sandal, with chair. She kicked me out. Let me tell you this story. My son
Tell
died.
me about the beating. That's what I want to hear.
Yes, my son died in 2014.
I'm sorry to hear that.
February 23rd. We fill out income tax together. She took all the money. I had to borrow money from other people to bury my son.
I'm not going to tell you again to stop yelling in the middle of the testimony.
And she took the money. I had to borrow money to bury my son.
But if you were working, I don't understand how she can take the money.
I had to bring her all the money.
You didn't have to do anything. She didn't have to pay for your schooling. You didn't have to give her your paycheck. None of this has to happen.
My honor, I had to bring her the money. If I don't, she said, I'm going to take your green card. They're going to send you to jail. I'm going to call police for you. She said, women here, they have all the rights. So, men, if you do something, or when she's beating me, she had a phone in her hand to do 911 to call police for me. So I couldn't go out. I had to stay there every 3 a.m. in the morning. She waited for the kids to sleep and put me in the bedroom. And she was... Oh my God! She made my life miserable.
Wait, every 3 a.m. she put the kids to bed and what?
Yes.
Can you stop? I'm going to have to kick you out. I really am. Go ahead and sit down. I want you to sit down because maybe if you sit down, you'll stop yelling.
She wait for the kids to sleep, and then if there was something wrong, I have to wash her underwear. If it's not folding well, I'm in trouble with her. If I don't clean the sink, I'm in trouble. And I was working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. So she would make my life miserable. She took all my money. She didn't give me none.
But why are you? I don't understand. If you're working 7 days a week, why do you give her all the money? Because in America, the women have all the rights?
She would kick me out.
It's news to the rest of us.
I didn't have nowhere to go. When she kicked me out, I had to sleep in my car.
But if you have all the money, if you have 7 days a week of money, then you have money.
I have to bring them to her.
How come you left when she got the green card?
I didn't let her. She kicked me out.
She kicked you out.
I swear to God,
she kicked you out. She kicked you out. Why?
You know, I had to give the money back to the people that I borrowed for to bury my son. I borrowed $1,200, so I had to pay back. So I had to give her less money now.
Okay.
She kicked me out, and she.
Are you guys still married?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Okay, so he says the plaintiff, who is his ex-wife, is the sister of his sister. Does that mean he married his sister?
It sounds like it to me. It sounds like sister, they're all connected.
Yeah, does it sound like it to you?
Yes, absolutely. It sounds like he married his sister.
Anybody here can figure out how can she be the sister of his sister and the plaintiff is not his sister as well? Can anybody figure out how that could be? Anybody? Anybody? Going once, going twice.
Yeah, two different. Maybe two different
parents. That would not make him a sister. Going inside the courtroom.
Has there been a divorce?
I divorced her because
Yeah, come on up. Is there a divorce decree?
Yes.
Okay, can I see the divorce decree?
I have something here.
Who filed for divorce?
Me.
He did.
What happened? You didn't show up?
What happened is that I didn't want to see his face after what he did.
Never, she didn't show up.
I'm not talking to you.
I didn't reply because I didn't want to face Henry anymore.
Okay.
So,
did she ever show up in court?
Never. She was scared because she was beating me. She was scared.
Beating you?
Even the police went to her house.
Never. No one. Henry is the manipulator. Henry is very good at it.
Oh my God.
The order that was entered by the judge, this is the family court order. Did you go back to the family court judge?
Yes.
And what did that family court judge say?
They told me that I filed the paper and then...
Too late? Too little, too late is what they told you.
No, they
told you we served process on you. We gave you notice how many times. You ignored everything.
Because at the end of it.
And so you've given up your right to fight for this marital asset.
Yeah, because
so why would it be different here?
Because I came at the end of it.
You didn't come at the end of it. You came when it was over. There was a default. A default means a judge sat there, called out your name, waited, didn't hear. That was your time. And when you didn't do it there, you cannot do it here. Okay? And believe me, do not think I'm saying I believe him. I'm not. I'm just saying that as a procedural matter, because this divorce decree says that that everything's settled between the two of you, you're cooked. You can't come into civil court and sue for it. That is my verdict. It's for the defendant. Good luck, folks.
And with that, the plaintiff is out of the courtroom into the hallway here. Step in a little bit closer and tell me what's your feeling about that ruling? You understand how she ruled?
I do understand that, but I think he should pay. We shouldn't let people like Henry take advantage of anybody. This is what he's been doing. And he is an actor, and he is very good at it. He shouldn't do that. Yeah, this is Henry. This is who you are. But Henry, you know what? I'm a hard worker. This is what I do for a living.
Henry turns his back as you speak to him.
This is what I do for a living.
All right. All right, as she turned to address you, you just
yes,
turn
sir.
your back on her. You just turn your back.
No, because she was lying at the beginning because she made my life miserable. I'm in college. I cannot study anymore. Look at where she brought me over here. I left Fort Lauderdale for her. So now she brought me all the way over here to New York. And I'm happy I'm here in New York. And then I show the biggest show of the world to present myself as a defendant. So I'm very happy.
You think
sir.
you've heard the end of her?
No, I didn't win. I didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
And I never wanted to win.
All
but
right.
I wanted to show the judge that she was a liar.
Okay, Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, you know, when there is a divorce settlement, you cannot reopen the case and then start suing for property. Once it's done, it's done. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
This is the plaintiff, Jasmine Kayali. She says she and the defendant shared an apartment and split the expenses, and everything was fine at the beginning. But as time went by, she stopped paying, had her arrested for battery, and now owes her $2,362.79 for utilities and rent. So she's suing. This is the defendant, Jade Fusco. She says the plaintiff's girlfriend moved in with him and was supposed to start splitting things with him 3 ways. It wasn't fair she was paying for half of everything when the agreement was she would pay for a third when the other girl moved in. Once the plaintiff physically attacked her, that was it. Besides, if anyone is owed anything, it's her. She's accused of taking off on a roommate. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $3,255 for a third of the unpaid rent she's owed.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. These litigants were roommates, but it got so bad, the defendant had the plaintiff arrested for battery. Now, the defendant says the plaintiff physically attacked her. It's the case of battery not included.
Thank you, Douglas. Jasmine Kayali, you're suing your former roommate, Jade Fusco, for $2,362.79 in lease fees for breaking the lease, as well as rent and bills that she left you with. And you have a counterclaim against her for $3,255 because you feel that you were overcharged for rent. Tell me what's going on.
We signed the lease together in August, in the beginning of August.
How did you two know each other?
We met at work. I was going to get a place by myself at that point in time. I was going to go move into a 1-bedroom apartment, me and my girlfriend. And she came to me and asked me if we could live together so we could split.
All 3 of you?
Yes. She knew about my girlfriend.
Whose name is on the lease?
Me and Jade's.
Why isn't the girlfriend's name on the lease if she was moving in from the beginning?
It was the responsibility was going to be between me and Jade. That was the decision.
So was she moved in from the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay. So what went wrong and when?
She didn't pay rent on March 1st, which I paid the rent up front.
March or February?
March 1st, I paid rent.
So she didn't pay rent on March 1st.
Which was an understanding. I told her I would pay the money and then she would pay me back whenever she had the cash. We both worked together, so it was just convenient. It was fine.
Okay.
And around March 18th, her dog got really sick and went all over the carpets. And she didn't clean them up for a couple days, so I approached her and asked her if she could clean up the mess. And she said that I was attacking her, that my nose is in the air, that I think I'm better than her, basically. And
were you calling her a pig or whatever else? Or okay.
I approached her when no one was around. I made sure there was no one, not to embarrass her. And She got nasty with me, and I just left it at that. I ended up going to get a shampooer the next day to clean up the carpets myself because it wasn't getting taken care of. Then March 20th, around that time, I started moving my TV into my room. She didn't like it, so she...
Wait, there was a TV like in the common living room?
Yeah.
And you moved it to your room?
Yeah, I had a small TV in my room.
That was an act of aggression though, right?
Well, I was switching them. It's a bigger TV. Right. And she made a snarky remark, oh, what, are you gonna move out? Are you moving out? And I told her no, that I'm just moving the TV from the living room.
What caused the problems between you two if you liked each other enough to move in together and you worked together?
We fought a lot throughout the lease, throughout the 7 months. It was a lot of bickering. It wasn't just a one-day thing. I literally would just leave the problems behind, hide in my room, let her do her thing. I did my thing.
Did she fight with your girlfriend too?
Yeah.
According to you, the common theme is that you felt like the girlfriend was mooching and she should pay her share.
Absolutely.
Okay, talk to me.
It wasn't just that she was mooching. It was that they were constantly fighting. So it was constant fighting in the house. So I was aggravated because I would come home and they'd be killing each other.
Physically?
Literally, physically.
Physically hurting.
So I would have to physically pull them apart. And it was constant and constant.
Okay. When did you decide, though, because it sounds like you all moved in together with the understanding that you would pay half the rent. When did you decide that that was unfair?
Well, our understanding was that we would split the rent until Cheyenne found a job. And then that was when I said...
Is that true?
No, ma'am.
When was she ever going to pitch in? Never?
We split the utilities 3 ways. She was helping me with the utilities.
Why is it that once she has a job, she doesn't have to pay any rent?
She was going to help me.
She was going to help you. So you two were going to split your half. So you'd each pay a quarter and she'd pay 2 quarters.
Well, it was an agreement between us.
Can you prove that there was an understanding that you would get half the bedrooms in the house but pay a third of the rent?
We both have nothing in writing saying that.
Is that accurate?
Everything was verbal. We were friends.
Everything was verbal. Not a text, not an email, not anything in writing?
Nothing.
Oh, that's good. How's that going to work out for each of you? Where's your girlfriend? Why isn't she here?
She's actually working right now.
Nobody else who knows the story between you two?
My mother.
Her mother didn't live in the house with us.
No, I meant privy to the arrangement would be nice. You know, there's usually something. Well, here's something. Every month you paid the rent, and you paid your portion, which was the entire $697.50. That's half the rent, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you didn't pay March 1st rent, did you tell her, well, I'll get the money?
No, I said, if you could spot me, then I'll give you money right away.
Okay, and did you?
No, that was
why didn't you?
Because we had gotten into a fit. She had attacked me.
Okay, so that's the reason you didn't pay March rent.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with you felt like the girlfriend was mooching.
No,
it had to do with her physically attacking you. What did she do to you?
She pushed me against a wall and spit in my face.
On account of what? What had happened? I mean, not that there's any excuse for that. I'm just saying what had happened before that.
I was in my room and we were talking about rent and she was moving the TV. And I said, are you moving out? Because what are you doing? It was nothing but like tension in the house. So when I had asked her if she was moving out, she was, no, I'm not. Yeah, I'm moving out. I'm moving my stuff out of the living room. She wasn't switching TVs. And I went in my room and we were talking about the rent. And she said something about, oh, well, she wants the rest of the money. And I said, okay, well, I'll give it to you. But the next month, we're going to split rent 3 ways this time. And she didn't agree with that. And I walked out of my room and she pushed me up against the mirror.
Why didn't she agree? What did she say?
That's all she said, is that no, we're not.
And then what happened?
And then she attacked me, pushed me against a wall, spit in my face.
How? No, don't skip it. Physically, how did it happen?
Physically ran up to me the second I walked out of my room and pushed me into our mirror in our hallway. And then I called the cops.
So can a roommate move a boyfriend or girlfriend in, let him stay all the time, when that wasn't necessarily part of the deal going in?
No, they have to ask the roommate first.
Do you have to ask the roommate first?
I'd say yes, because they're the second person living in the room.
Fair enough, but what if the roommate says no? What if the roommate says no, you can't move, your boyfriend and girlfriend can't stay? Are they allowed to do that just to block you?
No.
So how can they stay all the time?
No.
How much can they stay? 3 days a week, 2 days a week?
Maybe.
Okay.
I would say they need to pay rent. I would say that they would need to pay rent.
That never happens going inside the courtroom.
Did the cops come? Mm-hmm. Did you get arrested?
No.
When the cops came, what happened?
They wrote a report, and then that was it. Someone needed to leave the house, so I said, okay, I'm leaving. And I came back that night, and then everything in my room had been ransacked. Everything that was on the patio was in my bathroom. The whole house is a mess, and I called the cops again. Everything was flipped over. Like,
do you have a picture?
I don't have any pictures.
Okay.
Everything that was in my
Do you
closet.
yeah, because I find your generation takes pictures of food before they put their first fork in it. But no one takes a picture of something like this. That does not occur to anybody.
I actually did have one, but I don't have it anymore. I have a police report.
You actually what?
I have a police report of it.
Do you have you started saying something about a picture.
I had a picture, but I don't have it anymore. It was on an old phone. I don't have it.
So she actually did take it.
I did, yeah.
Why did you take the picture?
Because when the cops came, they told me to take a picture and send it to my email.
And what do you think it's for?
For evidence.
Right.
Yeah.
And who's looking at evidence right now?
I know.
Okay.
Well, I didn't think we'd be here.
You didn't think you'd be here?
I didn't think we'd be here.
Oh, you'd be here. You owe somebody rent money and bill money, you're going to be here. The police report's a little different than your testimony. The police report says that you didn't want to pay full rent March. Not, oh, next month we're going to start splitting it, but that you didn't want to pay full rent in March. Jasmine stated that Jade got crazy and started egging her on, got up in her face and asked her if she wanted to fight. And that Jade threw a shoe. Did you throw a shoe at her?
Yeah, she tried to open the door after I closed my room, and I had a shoe in my hand, so I threw it at her.
So how did everybody get their stuff? Is that the day you two left each other and moved out?
The reason she called the cops is because I no longer could live with her. I was just ready to get out of there, and I started packing up all my stuff, and everything was in boxes, and it was actually her
Did you ransack her room?
No.
She's making that up?
I took the cable box, but I had to return the cable equipment in order to not have a fee. I wasn't using it.
So did you move out that night?
It was probably a couple days.
Okay, what about you? When did you move out?
April 1st. 30 days after, she said that she wanted to break the lease. I said, that's fine.
Okay, now it's not 30 days after. April 1st is 10 days after.
Oh, 10 days after.
Yeah.
That was when we decided that we're leaving, but she was staying there also. So when I came home, she was in her room already.
What did you two do for 10, or it's 11 days? What did you two do for 11 days?
We work separate schedules. We don't see,
You just
we really
wouldn't
don't
talk to each other?
No.
You just walk by each other and not say anything?
I stayed with my mom, actually. She lives closer to the job, so I just...
All right, so when you break the lease, how does the landlord treat this? They charge you a hefty fee.
Yes.
Because you guys didn't give a full 30 days
Exactly,
notice.
but they knew about the situation and how crazy it was.
So did they make you pay 3 months or 2?
They only made me pay the 20.
Okay, so you paid the entire 2 months, and you are suing because you feel that she should pay one of the months because she's just as at fault in breaking the lease as you are.
Yes.
And you feel that you are not at fault in breaking the lease. Why?
I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay and take over the rent, and I couldn't because when we had signed, we did our credits together. And I wanted to stay, and I wanted to finish to the end so that our credits weren't
But how are you guys going to stay in those
same way we were
circumstances?
doing
We're
it.
calling the police on each other twice in one day. How can anybody
The same way we were doing it. It was fine until she put her hands on me. Then that's when...
Yeah, then it's not fine.
Yeah,
and
then it
you
wasn't
agree
fine.
that you put your hands on her,
I
right?
do. It
but
was
according
wrong.
to you, you pushed her. Why?
I was really upset.
So you pushed her because you were upset?
She was like, you want to fight? You want to fight? And
absolutely,
I got overheated and I did the wrong thing.
Okay. You ended up never paying the March rent, right?
No.
Okay. And then tell me about all these bills for cable, electric, and water. Now, while she's looking for the bills, you're counterclaiming against her $3,255 for 1/3 of the rent for 7 months.
For all the months that I paid half with Jasmine.
Yeah, but on what theory? You told me you agreed to do that until she got a job.
Until she got a job, but she wasn't even looking.
What's on the lease is that the two of you are splitting the rent. Only the two of you appear on it. So if you want to prove that you're not supposed to split rent, then you're the one with the burden of proving your defense that you should be paying less. And certainly you're the one with the burden of proving your counterclaim.
Absolutely.
So when you say neither one of us have any proof, it really hurts you on that issue more than it hurts her. Now, let's look at the bills. So $102 for February's cable bill. I can't believe I'm reduced to this. Who rented Horrible Bosses 2?
That was me.
Was it you?
That was me.
Who rented Transformers Age of Extinction?
That was me too.
Who rented Groundhog Day? Again? Who rented Groundhog Day?
That was me.
All right. You know, here's the problem with your version of things, Ms. Fusco. You're telling me I don't have to pay these things because she's the one who's breaching by leaving. But the problem that you have is that you were already in breach when you didn't pay rent on March 1st. And all she's asking you to pay are the bills that you would have paid, that you used, not bills from after that. It's bills that you would have used. Why is that so unreasonable?
It wasn't. And when she had asked me that day, hey, when she was moving the TV, she said, hey, can you give me rent? And I said, yeah, absolutely. Went in my room to go get my money to give her rent. And that's when all of that happened, when we started arguing. And then she attacked me, and then I was like, you know what? Okay, no, I'm leaving. I'm not giving you anything.
Well, you owe rent. I think that what she's asking for is a reasonable amount. And I'm also, for reasons I've discussed earlier, I'm not going to award you anything on your counterclaim because you cannot complain now. That's the agreement that you had entered into. I am going to order you to pay, I come up with a different amount for cable, so I'm going to order you to pay the amount I come up with, which is $2,341.79 to the plaintiff. That's my judgment. Good luck, folks.
Well, this case is resolved this way. The judge rules for the plaintiff. Step on in here. You have to pay what you owe, and so what's your reaction to that?
Just glad it's over.
Yeah, well, how bad was it living with her? How bad could it have been? You were there for a while.
Yeah, it wasn't bad until the end.
Mm-hmm. Well, was she a good roommate for a while?
Yeah, we were friends.
You liked her?
Mm-hmm.
And?
It just went sour.
All right. All right, so step on in here to what's your feeling on this outcome here. What's the matter with the two of you?
I'm just glad it's over, honestly.
Well, we're all glad it's over, but what are you pushing each other around for? How can it come to that?
Yeah, it was my mistake. I got a little angry.
Yeah. All right, so you're glad you're rid of her? Each other?
I'm sad that it ended this way. It could have ended out differently, but it is what it is.
All right, Harvey?
I got to tell you, the way to deal with this stuff is you got to sit down with the roommate and say, look, we got to break the tension. We got to live together. It's impossible for both of us. Just try to level. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
These are the plaintiffs, Camille and David. Camille says she and her husband purchased a 100-year-old house from the defendants, who promised them the fireplaces and chimneys were in good working order. As it turns out, they were not in working order and were in fact fire hazards. Shame on the defendants for putting our families' lives in jeopardy. They're suing for $7,000, the amount they need to get everything fixed correctly. These are the defendants, Kristen, Donna, and Lisa. Kristen says the plaintiffs had the house inspected. All the issues that came up were resolved. And now, 9 months later, they're suing for chimney cleaning? They've never had any problems with the chimneys, are shocked they're getting sued, and don't owe them anything but a good riddance. They're accused of firing up a lawsuit.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiffs bought a 100-year-old house from the defendants. They were promised, they say, that the chimneys were in tip-top shape. They were death traps, they say. But the defendants say they inspected the house so tough. It's the case of chimney chumps.
Okay, Camille and David. Everybody's asked not to mention their last names. You are suing Kristen and Donna and their realtor, Lisa, for selling you a house that, according to you, had a great deal of damage in the chimneys. What happened?
We asked about the chimneys prior to closing in an email to our realtor, in a list of questions for other things.
So did you have a realtor?
We did.
And they had a realtor?
Yes.
Okay. Was it an as-is sale or no? You should know.
Yes.
Can I see the sale contract? So go on.
So they came back with, one of the questions was about the chimneys. They said the chimneys were fine. They'd had them.
Wait. One of the questions.
One of the questions in an email prior to closing.
From whom to whom?
From me to my realtor, which then was passed on to their realtor. The response was, the chimneys are fine. We've had them cleaned. And then during the closing.
What day was the closing?
May 22nd of last year.
Okay.
In the seller's statement of property condition number 23 was.
Let me see that.
The chimneys are fine.
Chimney fireplace. Date last cleaned, 1 year. Problems, no. Okay, so go on.
So closing went fine. We had a VA inspection. The inspection came back fine.
Did they inspect the chimneys?
They don't. And
well, why didn't you pay somebody to inspect the chimney?
Good question, because we took their word for it in the response from the questions going through the realtors and then the disclosure statement.
Do you have the emails from realtors?
I do.
To realtors?
They're actually attached to that in the front, I think.
Do you actually have the email from Lisa? Because this is just an email from your realtor to you.
I do, but I didn't print that
Okay,
out.
you did send an email to her realtor answering some questions, right?
You want me to switch?
Yeah, actually, I just need her by microphone.
I responded to it, yes, and let her know that per the seller's disclosure that they hadn't had any previous problems with the chimney and that they had had it cleaned. They weren't sure it was approximately a year ago, prior to the sale.
Okay. So go on.
So closing went fine. I, taunted my husband with we should probably get these inspected after moving in.
No, you couldn't think of that
at least,
before?
the very least.
You couldn't think of that before?
Well, no, you're right. I should have thought about it before, but taking
You
your word
couldn't
for
think
it-
about that? Why am I giving her all the heat? You couldn't think about that before?
Yeah. So we had an inspection, and it came back as my gut said, with the wood burning chimney was not in good condition. The liner was pretty deteriorated. And then they did the oil burning inspection.
All right, there's two chimneys.
A wood burning regular fire chimney, and then an oil burning chimney for the oil heat.
And both of them had a problem?
Both.
And you had to pay how much to fix them?
Over $5,000.
Okay, so you've come here today suing for the $5,000 because that's their fault, because what?
Because they said that they had them cleaned, and according to our 2 inspections, they have not been cleaned, and they were in pretty bad shape.
Okay, you said 2 different things. According to our 2 inspections, they had not been cleaned and they were in pretty bad shape.
Right.
Show me the 2 inspections that say they had not been cleaned and they're in pretty bad shape. And while you're looking for it, let me ask you 2 ladies. You 2 are sisters?
Yes.
Oh,
Daughter
wait,
and
yeah,
I.
that's right.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so you 2 are sisters, and you 2 owned the house together?
Yes.
All right, you hired Lisa. Is Lisa related to you too?
She's our cousin and our
She's your
realtor.
cousin.
Yep.
All right, tell me about the chimney and the maintenance of that chimney throughout the time. How long did you own the house?
4 years.
Okay, tell me about the maintenance of that chimney throughout that time.
Had it cleaned. It worked the whole time we were there. This is the receipt from the chimney guy here.
Okay.
These are the receipts.
Now, this is the cleaning people who you hired.
Yep.
All right. In fact, one of the estimates says the liner appears as though it's never been swept. And then you got an email from the owner of the company that cleaned your place, and he's actually the guy that cleaned your place. It's a one-man company, right? Saying that he cleaned and inspected Kristen's chimney and wood stove roughly 2 years ago. At the time of the cleaning and inspection, there was nothing out of the ordinary to report. Okay. Well, as it turns out, they have ended up having to pay all of this money, over $5,000, and they feel that it's your fault, and you feel that it is not. Why?
So if the plaintiffs had the house inspected but didn't bother to inspect the chimney, tough luck?
Yes, tough luck, because they had their opportunity and they blew it. They should have had somebody who did a more thorough job of inspecting.
So when you're saying you inspect it, that means you either fully inspect it or you take your chances.
You fully inspect it.
Okay? Going inside the courtroom.
Your Honor, I don't feel it's our responsibility. It worked for us for 4 years. I have no idea what happened in the last year that they've had it. I mean,
When was the
historic
first,
winter,
the
I
closing
don't
was
know.
in May, and when was the first time you heard from them?
February had the thing from court.
So the first time you realized that they wanted you to foot the bill was in February, almost a year late. All right. Here's a problem that you have, okay? In order for a homeowner, a new homeowner, a buyer, to be able to sue the seller for a lie that you detrimentally relied upon in buying the house, and that's your premise. They told us it was fine, it wasn't fine. You have to be able to prove they lied. How did she lie? She hired somebody to clean it.
Well, then he lied to her because...
Well, then he lied to her. Okay. But how did she lie to you? Because that's what you have to prove to get somebody else to pay for, listen, is this your first home or no?
It is, yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's a money pit, honey. If you this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning.
Trust me, there's been several things since.
Yeah, of course it is. That's the joy and the torture of home ownership,
Right.
that now you can't just call your landlord and say, fix it. Now you've got to fix it. Now you
Right.
understand why your landlord was avoiding your calls, because it's expensive, right?
I'm fine fixing things,
Yeah.
but, it was a sticking point for me. I asked my realtor.
Can I just say something to you?
Yeah.
Because you say in kind of dramatic language, which is good, in your complaint about how I'm a mother and I have children and everything else. Why didn't the 2 of you demand that a house that is a 100-year-old house have the chimneys inspected for safety before you bought the house?
Because we relied on a VA
No, that's just silly. You don't know these people. You can't. Because we relied on them, it's not an answer. If you're really that worried
I'm
about your
not saying
children,
I relied on them. I relied on a VA inspector.
Okay, but here's the problem with, quote, relying on them. You're fine to rely on them. They reported completely honestly, we cleaned it a year ago. That's it. That's all they said. So there's no relying on anything because, you relied on them that they cleaned it a year ago. That means that the liner's not an issue, that other stuff is not an issue. You need to have that inspected. So to save the couple $100 extra, you ended up, you could have negotiated that in the purchase price of the house.
Very right, very right.
Right. So now you know for the next time. Verdict for the defendants.
Thank you.
So the owners of the money pit come out here and step in a little bit. What's going through your mind here after what the judge ruled?
Well, I think not all the evidence was considered, but, you know, I understand that law is law, so.
Yeah, so what have you learned there from the ruling?
I learned that people make bad choices. It wasn't necessarily the seller's bad choice, but it was the guy that cleaned them. I mean, he put them in jeopardy, too.
Yeah.
They were in pretty bad shape.
Well, you sued the wrong people.
Mine was just to hold someone accountable. It's not about the money. It's about holding people accountable.
Mm-hmm. Maybe getting a more thorough inspection before you
Right.
plunk down your check. All right, around the corner following Officer McIntosh there. You can't please everyone. Those are some very unhappy customers right there.
They are.
They're not happy with the court, and they're not happy with you.
They sued the wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, how would you feel if you were them?
I wouldn't have taken us to court.
Harvey?
Okay, this is a classic case of being penny wise and pound foolish. If you hire somebody to do an inspection, make sure they do a thorough inspection before signing off on the house.